It started here 5 years ago, or look at the future of basketball with the King. LeBron James took the stage and led his team, St. Vincent St. Mary's, to an upset win over heavily favored Oak Hill. So many players have been right in the spotlight here on ESPN, and tonight it continues. Here we look back at names like James and Telfair and Oden and on and on. But high school basketball leads to college basketball and then on to the pros. So much talent we have gotten to witness, including that young man, Tyler Hansbrough. Well, here tonight we'll look at the future in Drew Holiday. He is the highest signed guard for UCLA since Baron Davis, and Tom Izzo's going to like that young man, Delvon Rowe. Welcome to Lakewood, Ohio, everybody, in the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. Tonight, two of the top high school teams of the country square off. Number 25, Campbell Hall, going up against number 11, St. Edward. Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us. John Shambi alongside Mark Adams. Good one here. And I guess it begins with the future in college. I'll look at the Big Ten's future and as well the Pac-10.
Well, certainly we got two special players tonight. And 1 year from now, John, these guys could be playing for the national championship for UCLA and Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans.
All right, our star watch and a great guard for Campbell Hall and Drew Holiday. Something else.
Drew Holiday is a special talent. If you don't believe me, just ask Kevin Love, the star center for the UCLA Bruins, only a freshman, but he knows talent when he sees it. He loves Drew Holiday. And Delvon Rowe, a guy with a tremendous motor, plays extremely hard, high-flying left-handed dunks. Tom Izzo loves his intensity. That's why he signed a national letter of intent in the Big Ten for Michigan State.
Time now to check out our progressive starting lineups. Campbell Hall, they'll start a freshman in Austin McBroom. Holiday is the guy to focus on. And over on the St. Edward side, along with Delvon Rowe, also look at number 25, Tom Pritchard. He is signed to go to Indiana. And there is Tom Pritchard. Big physical player, 6'9" senior. And we are ready to go here in Lakewood, Ohio. Campbell Hall in the white jerseys and St. Edward in the green. St. Edward a season ago losing in the Ohio Final Four. They finished the year ranked number 23 in the country. And Delvon Rowe wins the tip for the Eagles of St. Edward. And a lob pass intercepted, and going the other way, Dallas Rutherford. And quickly, Campbell Hall on the board. Austin McBroom with two.
Well, Campbell Hall under Terry Kelly, they like to get up and down. They'd like to see this thing more of an 80-point pace, where St. Edwards like to pound it inside to their strong big guys, Delvon Rowe and Tom Pritchard.
So again, lots of size for St. Edward. And Drew Holiday trying to step in and come up with a steal. Connor Tillo missing that jumper. But down low for two is Alex Sturbo.
And Tom Pritchard kept that ball alive. That's why Kelvin Sampson likes him. He likes his ability to go get rebounds.
How about Drew Holiday answering immediately? The 6'4" senior can do it all.
Well, now he's matched up defensively with Delvon Rowe down low. Good matchup one-on-one.
Those two young men know each other well. Good job of the boards by Tillo as he picked up the rebound, and he'll go to the line. Now some differences in terms of the rules for the high school and college game. For example, we'll go 4 quarters here. 8 4-minute periods, no shot clock as well. And that factors in because, as you mentioned, the coaches on these two teams want to run different styles.
No question. Also an 84-foot high school court this evening instead of collegiately 94 feet. So things are a little bit tighter, and especially for a guy like Drew Holiday, he'll even be better in the 94-foot situation because it just spreads out defenders even more.
Well, mentioning Drew Holiday, has already hit a 3 in this one. He knows Delvon Rowe very well. They've gotten a chance to play together in summer league situations. That one out of bounds, and it'll go to St. Edward. There's Terry Kelly In his 7th season, and Campbell Hall, the defending state champs, they've won it 2 of the last 3 years. And off to a 4-0 start this season.
Well, Terry Kelly was a walk-on at Florida State, but he learned his lessons well coaching in high school. Now one of the top programs in the country at Campbell Hall.
They get the travel, and it'll go the other way. Well, meanwhile, Eric Flannery for the St. Edward Eagles was the coach of the year last year in Ohio, co-coach of the year, and Flannery, an alum of St. Edward. That's going to make it special for him.
Oh, he loves this place, and you can tell he's just so excited to be here tonight, and of course be on ESPN's an added bonus as well for Eric Flannery, and he's earned this opportunity, one of the great coaches in the Buckeye State of Ohio.
Flannery's team trying to get out and push it in that spot right there, but Delvon Rowe fouled, and St. Edward basketball down by a point early on in this one.
Well, interesting how Drew Holiday is matched up with Delvon Rowe, and Delvon Rowe gets open off the screen.
And right there, steal for Campbell Hall, and now the kick out. And here comes Rowe. Look out. Delvon Rowe lays it in.
Well, a big kid that runs the floor so well. He's just so agile.
And a turnover. It goes back to the Eagles of St. Edward.
Delvon Rowe, look at him in the open court. Long strides to the basket. Only takes 2 dribbles to go 3/4 of the court. That's the fundamental basketball that Tom Izzo likes about Delvon Rowe.
You asked him if there's one thing you could show Tom Izzo tonight, it would be what?
He wants to play well under the spotlight, the bright glare of national television. He wants to prove he's ready for Big Ten and national competition.
Rowe will certainly be a huge candidate for Player of the Year here in Ohio, but he is considered one of the top 10 high school players in the nation. And a feed down low, he lost his footing, and instead of traveling, just tossed it out to his teammate. And again, no shot clock here in Lakewood, Ohio.
That also plays to St. Edwards, who wants to run their half-court offense.
Drew Holiday blocking Tom Pritchard, and Campbell Hall the other way. And a turnover. Devon Rowe gives it off. This is Pritchard, big physical player, has it stripped away.
Well, Pritchard's one of those guys. There you see him at 250 pounds. At 6'9" tall. He's got great hands. He catches everything around the basket. He can also face up, knock down the medium range jump shot. He's a good pick and pop guy. He'll set a big screen for you, then he can face up, knock down the J.
And a big 3 right there from Alex Sturba. And the Eagles lead by 4. Holiday answers. Wow, that is a smooth stroke right there.
Little difference in style of play tonight, I'd say, is Drew Holiday. And listen, I'd give him the ball and run the give and go. Give him the ball and get out of the way. Is it just he can get up and down the floor and make plays. Drew Holiday.
Rebound fought for. This is Holiday behind his back. His brother Justin plays at the University of Washington. And Holiday thought about going to Washington before settling on UCLA. Right there, Dallas Rutherford hits a triple, and Campbell Hall ahead by a point.
I asked Drew about his relationship with Lorenzo Romar, the head coach of the University of Washington. He said that Coach Romar is really part of his family, but he wanted to stay close to his family. That's why he didn't go to Washington. And you know what? Really, all the travels really changed the equation in recruiting.
Well, early on, Drew Holiday, one of the top guards in the nation, knocks it down, and his team, Campbell Hall, on top.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
You don't want to be LeBron James. I can inspire you, impress you, make you believe. I am just one man. Nothing about my game is great yet. I still have work to do. More challenges to face. Much more to learn. To be as good as I can be. But I do see the light. And it is up to me to go and get it. I am LeBron James. You don't want to be me. You want to be better than me.
Smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd. And I'm hungry like the wolf.
Ahoy.
ESPN's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase, presented by Nike, is brought to you by Old Spice. Experience is everything. Nike, do you love basketball or do you love famous? And Progressive. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today.
Now back here in Lakewood, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, and two of the top high school basketball teams in the country squaring off. Campbell Hall out of California. And well, they've won the state championship 2 of the last 3 seasons. We mentioned Justin Holiday, and the enrollment just over 500. They didn't start playing basketball till 1986, so it's been a short-lived program, really. And St. Edward, led by that young man, Delvon Rowe, who admitted that the decision to go there was, well, at least early on, it didn't suit him so well, but he's adjusted and he's enjoyed it. And you see Phil Donahue, one
Absolutely.
of the noted alums.
You wear a shirt and tie when you come to school at St. Edward, and he didn't think that was a good idea when he was a 13-year-old 8th grader, but his parents made his decision for him, and he's never regretted it. He loves going to school here, loves the atmosphere, and we've got a chance to spend some time here. This is a fun place right here. These students really get after it. It's a great education for these kids.
Drew Holiday up and under. Oh, goodness, how's that for a move?
Boy, he's just so good off the dribble. Drew Holiday, you give him a crack in the defense, all 6'4", explodes to the basket.
That's Pritchard with his first 2. Tom Pritchard, kind of a funny little note. Both of these top players on the St. Edwards team, they're both lefties, both Delvon Rowe and Pritchard. Sturba's fouled. He'll go to the line. Been a good start so far to the senior, Alex Sturba.
Well, and Drew Holiday, 6'4" tall, and you give him an avenue to the basket, he will finish, and he can finish on either side. He's so long, fingertip to fingertip, he can make those plays with his athleticism.
You know, you were mentioning why Drew Holiday in part signed with UCLA. It's kind of interesting, and it sums up today's world of high school basketball.
It really does. These kids travel so much, John, that he decided he wanted to spend more time at home with his family, which eliminated playing with his brother at Washington, and decided to go with Ben Howland at UCLA. How times have changed for these young men that travel all over the country.
Devon Rowe, the rebound, the putback.
Well, we've got a pretty good mano-a-mano going here between Delvon Rowe and Drew Holiday. That's what we expected tonight. 2 of the great players in the country.
There's Holiday, and they get the foul. He'll go to the line. Now, folks, Saturday afternoon, ESPN has a college basketball doubleheader at noon. It's Arizona going up against Illinois, and then 2 Eastern, DePaul going up against Brandon Rush and the Kansas Jayhawks. College Hoops presented by Cars.com on ESPN this Saturday.
For DePaul at Kansas, Jerry Wainwright in 2004 took Richmond on the road and won at Temple, at Kansas, and at Xavier in 7 days. Wainwright now goes back with DePaul to take on Kansas.
Holiday off to a good start, 8 points early, and you see what he did last year. He averaged close to 7 assists to go along with the 23-9 last season.
Well, this kid is just carrying his team right now. He's such an explosive offensive player.
Pritchard down low. Nice reverse.
He can face up. We've seen him knock down medium-range jump shots, and then he does the dirty work down low. Kelvin Sampson loves this guy blue-collar work ethic.
That's Austin McBroom, little guy, and he's only a freshman. Well, One of the most heralded freshmen to come into Campbell Hall. Rose, long-range shot, no good. But St. Edward back with it. Rowe to Pritchard, who hits for 2 more.
Pretty nice when you got 2 Big Ten athletes that can give up the ball to each other and finish around the basket. Delvon Rowe to Tom Pritchard down low.
Both of them will be plying their trade in the Big Ten, and Drew Holiday has not stopped. He's got a dozen, and he's 4 for 4 from the floor.
He knocks down the J and points to us. You think he knows the spotlight's on tonight and Ben Howland's watching back in Westwood?
All right, here, Frankie Dobbs with the basketball. He comes from a good basketball family. Steal and a push ahead. And a layup for 2, Dallas Rutherford.
And this is St. Edward's first game of the season, and I think it's showing a little bit early as this team has been given the ball. They look a little bit nervous right now, I think, and just getting through their first game jitters.
Well, we asked Eric Flannery, their head coach, about it. He said, first game of the year, national television, a top 25 ranked team. We'll find out a little bit about where we are. And you know, last year they got all the way to the Final Four, and after being eliminated in the semifinal, Eric Flannery got a text message a little bit after being eliminated.
Well, Delvon Rowe assured his coach that he would win him a state championship this year. They lost in a heartbreaker last season. They made it to the Final Four, and Delvon Rowe, he never forgot what it felt like after that game. He wants to make up for it in this season and give his coach another state championship.
Delvon Rowe corrals Drew Holiday's first miss of the night. Well, closing in a minute to go here in the first quarter. Lakewood, Ohio. And 2 of the top 25 teams in the country squaring off in this one. Delvon Rowe right there, signed with Tom Izzo, who is in the house. The Michigan State head coach is here. And there he is.
Well, what a great career, a Judd Heathcote disciple. Of course, there have been so many great assistants that have also been under Tom Heathcote. In fact, in the state of Ohio right here, Stan Joplin down the road at Toledo was a Michigan State guy. Brian Gregory, the head coach of the Dayton Flyers, was also top assistant to Tom Izzo. Quite a coaching tree.
Rowe with the move, can't get it to go. And now Holiday up and under, and the block. He'll go to the line. Now, Drew Holiday, considered one of the top 5 players in the country. 3 times he's been a member of the All-State team out in California.
Well, it just seems unfair in the open court. He's 6'4". He's got a very long and explosive first step to the basket. He can play the off guard. I think he can play the point as well. He sees over defenders. He makes his teammates better. Talking to him before the game today, he really felt like, John, that his role was certainly to do his job, but also to get everybody else involved in the game. He can't do it by himself. I like his unselfish attitude.
Well, he is hot early on. And Campbell Hall from California, the Vikings on the road and leading this one early. Terry Kelly, the Florida native, looking on. Good feed down low, and the flush by Delvon Rowe.
And that was right on a defender's head. He just went up and over for the dunk.
Holiday, though, picks up the rebound. Campbell Hall doing a good job on the boards. But Rowe comes away with it. And Holiday fighting for the rebound. They got Sturba coming in with the foul. Now we're mentioning Delvon Rowe signing with Michigan State. Can do so many things.
I know who's going to win that battle. 6'8", 6'9", athletic, Delvon Rowe.
How do you think he's going to enjoy putting on the helmet and the pads the first time Tom Izzo breaks those out?
It will be physical, I will guarantee you that. In fact, Tom Pritchard, he will also experience a similar fate under Kelvin Sampson, also a Judd Heathcote disciple at Indiana.
Bryce Brady short on the 3, but there's Holiday. Rutherford And time expires. So here in Lakewood, Ohio, the stars shining early on. And Campbell Hall from California on the road, led by Drew Holiday's 14 points. Delvon Rowe heading to Michigan State, his team trailing because Holiday is hot early on.
Let's say you need to get your car insured. You want to shop around so you can make a smart decision, but you want to do it fast. That's why you've got to go to Progressive.com. You can get the Progressive Direct rate and the rates of other top companies, so you could save a lot of money. And it only takes about 8 minutes.
Saving hundreds is just the beginning. Start saving today at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Click or call today.
2 out of 3.
This week on Countdown.
He'll go off yet. I don't know when, but he'll go off.
Can T.O. behave all season in Big D? And
we're just trying to win the game, that's all.
Why Bill Belichick stays tight-lipped in front of the media. Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
With seats that swivel 180 degrees, a one-touch power folding third row, and exclusive Sirius backseat TV with dual DVDs. It's proof that parents can be as smart as their kids. The all-new Chrysler Town & Country with the best powertrain warranty in the business. Chrysler, engineered beautifully.
Eat your vegetables.
I haven't seen another person in 3 years.
I Am Legend. Rated PG-13. In theaters and IMAX December 14th.
Back here in Ohio, the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike as we get ready for the second quarter. John Chambi alongside Mark Adams, and two of the top high school teams in the country squaring off, and we get a look at the three of the top high school players in the country. A young man inbounding in the white, Drew Holiday, signed with UCLA, considered one of the top 5 high school players in the country, and Delvon Rowe for St. Edward in the green. Well, the road team off to a good start. Campbell Hall, the Vikings. Holiday harassed. And the pull-up jumper, no. Actually a lob, but Holiday couldn't get it to go. And good work down low by James Johnson, our first look at the sophomore.
And James Deuce Johnson was on the all-freshman team in California last year. I think he's the next coming of a top 10 player. I love this kid's game, Deuce Johnson.
Holiday with the steal. Holiday is everywhere. There he is again, up and under, spins it home, goodness. He's got 16 already. I get the sense he's enjoying the focus here on national television.
He loves the spotlight, and he started it with defense, getting the deflection, the athletic play to save the ball, and then what a dipsy-do underneath off the glass for Drew Holiday.
You know, Mark, we get a look at so many good freshmen this year at the college level, whether you're talking about Rose or Eric Gordon, Michael Beasley at Kansas State, and I think we're getting a look at the next wave. Drew Holiday has been something else here tonight.
Drew Holiday, just look at the athleticism. Gets in the paint, goes up, spins it off the glass. This is a kid that spent a lot of time in the gymnasium. Draws the defender, even drew contact. Could have been a foul right there. Drew Holiday will be a significant difference for UCLA, just like Derrick Rose at Memphis, Michael Beasley at Kansas State. He's in that same class.
So when we're having the conversation next year around this time about impact freshmen, you think we're going to be mentioning this guy's name?
No question, because he's 6'4". He plays defense fingertip to fingertip. He's unselfish with the ball, and around the basket, it's almost an automatic 2 points. I just love his range of getting his body to the basket and finishing.
You know, UCLA, Ben Howland's done a great job, and all of those young men know that when they come in, Mark Adams, it'll start at the defensive end. He just demands that from his team.
Absolutely. Ben Howland was a former assistant to a lot of guys over the years, and Jerry Pym being one that I respected tremendously at the University of California at Santa Barbara. And it does start with defense with guys like Ben Howland.
Delvon Rowe going to the line. Rowe, a guy who can do it not just inside but outside as well. He lists his favorite athlete as Dirk Nowitzki. So there's a guy with good size who can get out there, knock down the jumper, and then wander in and play with the trees.
He and his father have a very special relationship, and this kid really works so hard. His father says he's crazy as far as the amount of hours that he puts in. 2 to 3 hours a day on basketball, and then 2 to 3 hours a day on conditioning during the summertime.
Holiday feeds Max Rose, the senior. He nails the triple, and Campbell Hall is on top by 11. And St. Edward's a little shaky with the basketball. 9 turnovers for the Eagles. Richard can't pull down the rebound. No, it'll be St. Edward's basketball.
You know, when I look at a great player and evaluate players, one of the evaluations I look for, especially for a kid like Drew Holiday who has the ball in his hands, does he make everybody else on his team better? No question. In the first quarter and a half of this game, he's made every Campbell player a lot better.
Richard pulls up. Well, there's what you talked about earlier. He can face up and step out despite the size.
Well, in the Kelvin Sampson offense, you're going to have a lot of 4 out and 1 in. And St. Edwards runs very similar type offense. And Pritchard is a guy that can knock down that jump shot. You've got to guard him out there.
Offensive foul on Drew Holiday, and the crowd delighting in that. Folks, college basketball on ESPN2 continues Saturday night. We're going to look at one of the top guards of the country, Dominic James, going up against Wisconsin. College basketball, ESPN2, Saturday night, 6 Eastern, Wisconsin and Marquette.
Well, that's a great rivalry right there. And I'll tell you, I like Dominic James, but I like Jerome McNeil about as well. That kid can really defend for Tom Crean. Another Judd Heathcote disciple and former Tom Izzo assistant.
Now here in Lakewood, Ohio, number 25 Campbell Hall against number 11 St. Edward. John Shambi, Mark Adams, as we continue our look at the future of college basketball. Some of the top high school players in the country getting together in this one. And St. Edward with 2 highly touted players, and Devon Rowe, and as well, along with Delvon Rowe, Tom Pritchard. And there is Rowe with the board.
And St. Edwards right now in their first game, I think if they're going to learn one lesson here in the first half, get the ball to your best player. Delvon Rowe needs the ball in his hands. There he's matched up with Drew Holiday out front.
Rowe looking for some help, finds Sturba, who lays it in. Alex Sturba has had himself a fine first half. And they have the tie-up, and with the possession arrow, it'll go the other way.
And now Delvon Rowe exerting his defensive will as Drew Holiday gets by the defender. But here's the help side right there. Gets his hand on top of the ball, jump ball. Delvon Rowe and Drew Holiday going after each other.
And again, those 2 young men know each other well.
In summer basketball now, you get to know all these guys well.
Pritchard missing in close to the hoop. And a foul, it'll go the other way. Looks like they got Alex Sturba. Well, Terry Kelly's team so far on the road, and St. Edward's first game of the year for the Campbell Hall Vikings, they've already played 4 times.
And they've won every game by 24 points or more. So they have not even had a contest yet. And now going on the road across the country, playing in their 5th game of the season here at St. Edward's, just outside of Cleveland, Ohio.
Holiday, nice move, avoiding the contact.
Well, he is just so dangerous going to the basket. He's just better than everybody on the court. So is he.
And the foul. Delvon Rowe will go to the line, and no answer for Holiday, but at the other end, no answer for Rowe. St. Edward at home. They have the crowd on their side, but some early jitters in their first game of the season. And Rowe can't complete the 3-point play.
Well, you just get the sense that between Drew Holiday and Delvon Rowe, they will determine who wins this game going up against each other.
Well, St. Edward down by 7, breaking our action on the court, and Old Spice takes us off the court with Delvon Rowe from St. Edward's High School.
Hi, ESPN. This is me, Delvon Rowe, here at St. Edward High School with my teammates. This is off the court.
Oh, it's Delvon.
Rugby player right here. Funniest kid in the whole school.
When he's off the floor, he's genuine. He's very considerate, polite. He's a great young man. When he gets on the floor, he's a vicious competitor.
They're great fans. They come to all the basketball games. Best student. All the teachers are all very friendly, and they're all there to get you better and get you smarter and ready for the next level, and that's college. Now for this, I have basically no idea what to do. I'm back at my house now. It's a long day of practice. I love to be around my family. I'm just mostly a family guy. I love this the most. Me and LeBron, no matter who's on the court, I'm not going to back down for no one. And I got that from him, teaching me how to play basketball the right way.
Delvon Rowe, our Old Spice off-the-court player from St. Edward's High School, and he is, again, one of the highest talented players in high school in the country.
And I love his work ethic. He puts it this way: hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. This kid works hard every single day. He's learned well from his mother and father.
All right, time now to go back to the studio of SportsCenter 30 at 30, and here's Ryan Burr.
All right, thanks, John. LSU coach Les Miles has signed a contract extension that will keep him with the Tigers through 2012. The deal approved by LSU's board, apparently ending any chance of Miles leaving for Michigan to replace Lloyd Carr. NFL football on Thursday night. The Bears and Redskins are scoreless. 2-minute warning of the first half. Both starting quarterbacks have left the game due to injury. SportsCenter follows Villanova and LSU. Stay current. ESPN News always on. John and Mark.
All right, Ryan, thanks very much. Here in Lakewood, Ohio, and the number 25 team in the country going on the road, leading it by 7. And that young man, Delvon Rowe, we just got to look at him off the court. Well, we talked to him off the court today, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but he's impressive, he's engaging, he's a kid that is very comfortable talking to people and just sharing himself.
He shakes hands well, he looks you in the eye, he introduces himself, he engages you in conversation. He learned from his mother the value of an education. He's learned from his father the value of hard work. Those are pretty good values to learn in that family environment.
Yeah, you asked him, what have you learned from your mom? And he didn't bat an eye. He just looked at you and said, she taught me that that ball is going to stop bouncing one day. And he pointed to his head and said, I need to have something up here.
Well, and he definitely has that special something, not just athletically, but also a commitment to other people, to his family, and the community here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I just love that explosion to the basket, that athleticism, that aggression from Delvon Rowe.
That last foul on Drew Holiday, his second. And Rowe now with 10 points. So Eric Flannery's team staying close. And you'd have to figure the formula is going to be Rowe asserting his will probably closer to the hoop.
No question. It's going to also be interesting to see the defensive matchups. Will Delvon Rowe go man-to-man with Drew Holiday in the second half more than he has in the first half?
This is Holiday with the basketball.
Trapping defense back to a 2-3 zone. Little matchup here by St. Edwards.
James Johnson gets his own miss. Can't put it home, and now Pritchard. Dobbs cross court.
Well, great box off right there by Johnson. Well, I like that sophomore.
Wide open, and Holiday has it rim out.
There's coaches right now watching this game, because this is a free look for every coach in the country. They're going to be asking about number 44, James Deuce Johnson. I'll guarantee you that. That kid has a tremendous upside. Great strength, great hops. He's got great paws. He catches everything that comes his way. Deuce Johnson, mark him down as the next comer out of Campbell Hall.
Wearing number 44 in white and only a sophomore. Now 10 turnovers on St. Edward. There's Deuce Johnson. Already 6'7".
Prepare to get recruited hard. The onslaught will starting tonight.
There you go. Austin McBroom, the freshman, handling. And Johnson tipping it away, but Justin Staples pulls it down. Staples, an excellent football player. Nice look down low, but Rowe can't hit, and Holiday pushing the pace. Takes the contact, can't get the foul called. Now Rowe has it knocked away, a little sloppy.
That's a lot of contact.
And they get a timeout for Campbell Hall. Terry Kelly upset right now with his team, but they still lead by 5. Drew Holiday, he has been all over the place inside and outside.
Drew Holiday defensively, and that's part of his game that I really enjoy. Of course, the finishing ability around the basket, breaking down the defender, pulls up for the medium-range jump shot. I can see Bruins across his chest right now at Final Four time 1 year from now. This kid can flat-out play Drew Holiday.
Already 18 points for Holiday. And again, a guy who looks to get his teammates involved. He'll distribute. This team, the defending state champs, and they've won it 2 of the last 3 years out there in California.
I asked him today about, did Kevin Love, his presence at UCLA, and the off chance that he might stay for a second year, did that influence his decision? He said no, but he'd sure like to see it happen. Be interesting to see those 2 guys, along with that great recruiting class, to see all those guys together, playing together for UCLA.
So we'll see if Kevin will comply.
Kevin Love called him a special talent. He's ambidextrous. He can use his right hand, his left hand equally well. When I first saw him, I thought he was left-handed. He was so good with his left, but he is right-handed.
Left his feet, but banged it off the leg of Delvon Rowe.
And there's the defensive matchup that we've been looking for. Delvon Rowe matched up with Drew Holiday, and that's why I think that this kid defensively in Tom Izzo's system is going to fit so well, because he's 6'9", and he'll go up and challenge shots with those long arms.
Yeah, Eric Flannery told us we'd see that matchup at one point. Rowe guarding Holiday. Campbell Hall has gone cold, 6 straight misses from the floor. But the Vikings still leading on the road by 5. John Shambi, Mark Adams here. First half of basketball to the top 25 high school teams in the country. Delvon Rowe, the Michigan State signee. And they get him for the travel.
Playing a little point guard right there, Delvon Rowe. So Eric Flannery's pulling out all the tricks tonight in the very first game of the season. A little 1-4 with Delvon Rowe at the point guard position against Terry Kelly's Campbell Hall ball club.
Still under 30 seconds to go. Again, no shot clock in effect. And Campbell Hall holding for the last shot.
So, I wonder who's going to make this decision, John.
Holiday with the kick out. Rutherford drills the 3 from Drew Holiday. At the buzzer. And Dobbs can't get it to go down. Campbell Hall going on the road. Drew Holiday doing the damage. 37-29, the Vikings lead it.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
Four paws and one big shaggy heart. Doesn't he deserve to be covered too? Introducing pet injury coverage from Progressive. Now when Progressive covers your car, we cover your pet at no extra charge. Now that's Progressive. Go to Progressive.com or call a local independent agent.
And the amazing thing is you can stay any hotel anywhere using your points. Last year we went to Trinidad and Tobago.
All on points.
My uncle was eaten by an alligator on a trip to Africa, but we used our points. So in the end, it wasn't a half bad trip. This year we're thinking about going
I remember one time I fell asleep in a tanning bed. Ugh, how embarrassing, huh?
I didn't do a tanning bed. Why are you asking that?
Why do you have goggle lines?
What did you just say to me?
Smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd, and I'm hungry like the wolf.
Ahoy.
ESPN.
Hope you're enjoying Campbell Hall in St. Edwards. Get you back out to Ohio, but first get you up to date on some of the action from around the nation, including a good one in the Big East SEC Invitational. Dave Odom in South Carolina taking on Providence. Devin Downey misses, but Mike Holmes, throw it down, Mike, throw it down. Elevation, take another look. Downey can't hit, but Holmes, Johnny on the spot. It was a 9-point game at the half. Second half, here comes Providence, but Jeff McDermott feeds Jermaine Peterson for the dunk. Providence down only 2 later in the second. Gamecocks up 4. Downey, the difference with his defense, the steal and the deal at the other end. Carolina up by 6. 5 seconds to go, though. Wayme Epijuku drives, down 2, can hit, but he's fouled with 0.2 seconds to go. He would miss the first, try to miss the second intentionally, but he makes it. Thus, Providence loses to South Carolina by just 1 point, 68-67. Women's basketball battled 2 top 20 teams. Duke had lost 3 straight, but they come back to beat number 3 Rutgers 49-44. The Blue Devils get a very important win. College football, LSU coach Les Miles has signed a contract extension that will keep him with the Tigers through 2012. The deal was approved by the LSU board, apparently ending any chances of Miles leaving for Michigan to replace Lloyd Carr. Major League Baseball today suspended Orioles outfielder Jay Gibbons 15 days and Jose Guillen. Guillen had just signed a 3-year, $36 million deal with the Kansas City Royals. Gibbons apologized and said that he did not mean any harm. Jason Kidd insisted a migraine headache caused him to miss last night's Knicks game, brushing aside reports that he was staging a one-day personal strike to force a trade. Says he does not want to force a trade. Second half will get you back to the Old Spice Showcase. Good high school game going on right here on ESPN2. Back to Ohio after this timeout.
ESPN's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase, presented by Nike, is brought to you by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
You guys hungry? I'll make Totino's pizza rolls. I love Totino! But we have to be quiet. I love Totino!
Word's out. Totino's Pizza Rolls. It's how kids help themselves.
Deep in the fourth quarter, McGregor nailed the door shut.
McGregor, you crushed it!
That's what I'm talking about, boys. Snap!
Now everyone can play with EA Sports Family Play on the Wii. Rated everyone.
What kind of question is that? I'm telling you, the Eastern Conference is actually not a JV league. Anybody can come out the East. The West is not dominant anymore, man. There's parity in the NBA right now. You look at Boston, Chicago, Detroit, Orlando, New Jersey, Cleveland, the New York Knicks. We all know there's power in the West, but you got to pay attention now to the East too, Mello.
I'm just talking about the exit, man. East or West?
Oh.
ESPN, your NBA destination for games Wednesdays and Fridays, plus in-depth analysis all week.
Game Awards. Check your local listings. Only on Spike.
Two unbeaten champions.
Combinations by Mayweather. Big left by Hatton.
Floyd Mayweather has stopped everyone.
This is why we use the word sensation.
Ricky Hatton fears no one.
It's this combination. I think he's finished.
One will remain undefeated. Mayweather versus Hatton, Saturday, December 8th, live on DirecTV pay-per-view. Don't miss it. Live on DirecTV pay-per-view, channel 123.
Now back here in Lakewood, Ohio, the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. Number 25, Campbell Hall on the road and leading this one early on by 8. Well, the Old Spice High School Showcase continues, and we got a great slate for you. Get a look at the #1 team in the country, Oak Hill. And remember, former Seton Hall star Danny Hurley coaches St. Benedict in New Jersey. They're the #9 team in the country. And then later on, December 29th, St. Patrick will be in action, and Oak Hill again later on in the month of December. John Shambi alongside Mark Adams. And, well, freshmen sort of the story in college basketball so far this year. There have been so many impact freshmen, and I guess here tonight we're looking at some guys who will be impact freshmen next year.
Oh, no question. But when we talk about this year, you got to start with O.J. Mayo, who now plays for Tim Floyd and the USC Trojans. This kid, if he can keep his head on straight, continue to play hard and learn the Tim Floyd way, he's going to be special.
Eric Gordon's made such a huge impact at Indiana. Tom Pritchard playing for St. Edwards here will be his teammate. And then this young man, Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, who's developed a relationship with John Wooden, the legendary national championship coach for the UCLA Bruins. He understands history, and my #1 guy in the country, Derrick Rose, he makes Memphis so much better with Chris Douglas Roberts. John Calipari got a steal with Derrick Rose.
Oh, there are your impact freshmen. #3 guy, Michael Beasley, 6'9", about 240 pounds. If he comes out, he'll have a chance to be a top pick.
He is a load and a score. And Chris Wright, a guy that a lot of people haven't heard about, has gone for 24 and 26 in his first 4 games for the Dayton Flyers with Brian Gregory. And, of course, Herb Pope, a tremendously talented man. A big surprise going into New Mexico State. Cal Singler, DeAndre Jordan, Dante Green with Syracuse, and Jim Boeheim getting it done along with Johnny Flynn up there. Costa Kufos, Jared Bayless. And I'll tell you, Corey Fisher from Villanova, if I went with a baker's dozen, I'd go with Fisher-Price. He toys with his opponents.
Now Delvon Rowe and the St. Edwards Eagles down at the half. We'll have basketball for you coming up from Ohio.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
Let's say you need to get your car insured. You want to shop around so you can make a smart decision, but you want to do it fast. That's why you've got to go to Progressive.com. You can get the Progressive Direct rate and the rates of other top companies, so you could save a lot of money. And it only takes about 8 minutes.
Saving hundreds is just the beginning. Start saving today at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Click or call today.
And the Heat trail by 2.
Miami needs someone to step up here.
Okay, Dwayne.
Let's get a nice open shot. No, dog. Just dunk it. Now, Dwayne. Kiss it off the glass. Kiss it? Take it in and dunk on him. He's a large man, Dwayne. And do what you do. Dunk on him. Still time for a jump shot. What? Dwayne. Here we go. Don't do it. Lift off, baby. No. Yeah, baby. Do it again. Do it again.
Max Mancini's Nature Valley, Pyramid Peak, Colorado. Where's your Nature Valley? 100% natural, whole grains, delicious.
Smell like a sound, I'm lost in a crowd, and I'm hungry like the wolf.
Ahoy.
Carlos Boozer plays for the Jazz with a game that's straight-ahead funk, in your face, in the paint. But the defending champs from the Spurs have been making sweet music at home. Division leaders clash in San Antonio. Jazz Spurs tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern. The NBA on ESPN.
John Shelby, Mark Adams back in Ohio. The Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. Number 25 Campbell Hall leading by 8 over number 11 St. Edward. Well, we start with the home side, and Delvon Rowe, 11 points so far, 8 of them in the paint.
Delvon Rowe headed to Michigan State, likes the up-tempo, can do it down low, battles there with Drew Holiday, goes up for the easy 2, and down underneath, this looks like me defending, get out of the way. Delvon Rowe is ramming it home. When you talk about Campbell Hall, Drew Holiday, UCLA bound defensively, he's rangy, offensively, look at that move. And breaks down the defender, breaks his ankles, medium-range jump shot. Drew Holiday has really impressed me here in the first half with his ability to get to the basket and finish.
Going to be interesting to see how it plays out, the defensive matchups towards the end of the game, because at times we have seen Holiday and Rowe on one another. And if this one is tight late in the game, it would not be a surprise to see those two matching up. Holiday 6'4", Rowe is 6'9", and it's the Vikings basketball. Campbell Hall in the white, St. Edward in the green.
If I'm Eric Flannery, I'm not going to wait too much longer before I get Delvon Rowe matched up with Drew Holiday, because I think he's the only kid athletically that can maybe make a dent offensively, defensively versus Drew Holiday.
Good look down low as Rutherford finds James Johnson, who starts the second half. So Terry Kelly going to the sophomore. And again, rules differences. 4 quarters as opposed to the halves, 4 8-minute quarters, and no shot clock. And you know, for sure, that is not something that matters to Campbell Hall, because Terry Kelly's team just wants to get up and go.
Yeah, there won't be any shot clock violation either way, even if it was here tonight for Campbell Hall. Terry Kelly, a former walk-on at Florida State, very successful high school coach in Florida, then came to Campbell Hall, and what a job he's done for that fine school.
St. Edward. Feed down low to Pritchard, looking for some help. And he puts it down. Tom Pritchard heading to Indiana next year. And that big body, 250 pounds at 6'9", he is ready, at least physically, it would seem, to bang in the Big Ten.
Kelvin Sampson is watching tonight, and I got a chance to visit with Kelvin on the phone coming here to Cleveland, Ohio, and he said that Tom Pritchard is a guy that's a great puzzle piece to a great team. And Kelvin Sampson likes guys that can fill roles. Tom Pritchard can fill a big role for the Indiana Hoosiers with his physical presence.
7-point game here. Almost the turnover. But Campbell Hall able to gather it in, and Rutherford puts it home. And again, our Old Spice Showcase continues here in December. 3 more games after this, a week from tonight. Good matchup between number 1 Oak Hill and number 9 St. Benedict's. Turnover there, Campbell Hall the other way, and all of a sudden, it's a double-digit lead. The Vikings on the road by 11.
When John, you mentioned Oak Hill, the #1 team in the country, led by Brandon Jennings, a great point guard who signed with Arizona, and Lute Olson. And, of course, Samardo Samuels from St. Benedict, 6'9", going to Louisville with Rick Pitino.
Johnson down low, and he's fouled by Delvon Rowe. Well, there you go. Brandon Jennings, #1 in the ESPN 150. And Samardo Samuels, those two will go head-to-head. And Jennings, who is heading to Arizona.
Jennings is rated as the #1 point guard in the country, and Samardo Samuels, a top 10 player, 6'9", 240. Just a guy that finishes everything. He's just a monster. He expects to play some big minutes for Louisville and Rick Pitino.
That last foul, by the way, on Delvon Rowe, that is his first.
James Johnson can play for me. I'd still be in coaching. That kid can play a lot of college level right now as a sophomore in high school.
Nice move there. Frankie Dobbs, the senior. Baseline cut, Holiday over his shoulder. It was almost down, and Pritchard grabs the board.
Boy, Pritchard seems a lot more aggressive on the defensive glass coming out in this half. I'm sure Eric Flannery has challenged the 6'9", 250-pound product to get after it on the boards.
Delvon Rowe, I think that's his first touch of the second half, and I'm sure that Eric Flannery wants to see him get a little more involved. And his best player going to the line as the Eagles down by 11.
And if you remember, Eric Flannery brought Delvon Rowe away from the basket to get more touches, as the entire Campbell Hall defense is centered around stopping Delvon Rowe. He gets to the line. He's drawn 4 fouls. It's part of that work ethic we talked about earlier with Delvon Rowe. He just finds ways to score points, and part of that effort gets him a lot of free throw opportunities.
So under 6 minutes to go here, third quarter. And the home side, St. Edward, trying to make a run.
Well, you got to give him the basketball there. He's wide open down the block. You've got to give him the ball.
Delvon Rowe, but this is Holiday, Drew Holiday. And the feed, McBroom, the freshman, misses. Here in Lakewood, Ohio, the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. Number 25, Campbell Hall. Number 11, St. Edward, John Shambi and Mark Adams. And we look at 2 of the top 10 players in the nation, as Delvon Rowe from St. Edward going up against Drew Holiday from Campbell Hall. There's Pritchard with the block, and he's not too shabby himself.
Well, another top 150 player, Tom Pritchard.
Well, there's your guy, James Johnson, but Pritchard pulls away the miss.
Tom Pritchard has been a shining star here in the second half. We're seeing why he's going with the Indiana Hoosiers.
Ball deflected. It'll stay Eagles basketball.
Tom Pritchard does a lot of good things that a big guy needs to do. He jumps up, challenges this shot, the big left-hander, and that's where a left-hander is so valuable as right-handers shoot right into that big paw.
Sturba. Rowe has not gotten very involved in the offense here in the second half early.
Well, he's down on the block, and the defenders are playing behind him. There really is a passing angle into Delvon Rowe, but this is St. Edward's first game, and I think it's shown a little bit on those little fundamentals of entry passes into the post. He's open there.
Yeah, Holiday closing off, but Sturba drills that one. It looks like Delvon Rowe might be hobbled a little bit, limping just ever so slightly. And right now, St. Edward's trailing by 8. Well, coming up on Saturday, ESPN with college basketball and a doubleheader. Noon Eastern, Arizona going up against Illinois, and then 2 Eastern, DePaul going up against Kansas. It's college basketball presented by Cars.com on ESPN this Saturday. Well, Kelvin Sampson happy to have his hands next year on that young man, and he's put together a very good recruiting class.
Devin Ebanks is unbelievable. You put him together with Eric Gordon. If Eric Gordon stays, watch out. Those guys could beat the Pacers. Tom Pritchard, Matt Roth, and Terrell Holloway. Kelvin Sampson has recruited extremely well at Oklahoma. He did a great job at Washington State. Now the head coach at Indiana, and getting Eric Gordon late was a tremendous steal. The man was committed to Illinois, went back on his commitment, wanted to play for Kelvin Sampson at Indiana. I'll tell you what, if he called me and said I wanted to play for Indiana, I'd take him too.
Johnson down low. And Frankie Dobbs comes away with it. Goes aggressively to the rim and lays it home. Well, Frankie Dobbs, the senior and son of former college coach Happy Dobbs, who's an assistant on Eric Flannery's staff. There's Pritchard, and he'll go to the line, and the Eagles trying to make a run.
This crowd is feeding off the effort of Tom Pritchard. He's doing the lunch pail, blue-collar type of work that you expect from this workhorse down low.
10 points, 4 boards for Tom Pritchard. And a timeout on the court. Dobbs pushing the pace, and Frankie Dobbs able to lay it home. The Eagles within 6.
You don't want to be LeBron James. I can inspire you, impress you, make you believe. But I am just one man. Nothing about my game is great yet. I still have work to do. More challenges to face. Much more to learn. To be as good as I can be. But I do see the light. And it is up to me to go and get it. I am LeBron James. You don't want to be me. You want to be better than me.
And one big shaggy heart. Doesn't he deserve to be covered too? Introducing pet injury coverage from Progressive. Now when Progressive covers your car, we cover your pet at no extra charge. Now that's Progressive. Go to Progressive.com or call a local independent agent.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Back in Lakewood, Ohio, and the Old Spice High School Showcase. Tom Pritchard at the line, and the St. Edward Eagles trailing this one by 6. Pritchard now with 11. Packed house here. Fans looking for something to get him going, because Campbell Hall, led by Drew Holiday, really took the air out of this place early on. Good cut and the feed down low. Johnson had to go off his hands in a turnover. Oh, there you go. Top players in the ESPN 150. Those are the guys that will make an impact.
Brandon Jennings, just a great point guard. Tyreek Evans is unsigned right now. Samardo Samuels, we mentioned him. Greg Monroe going to Georgetown. You lose Hibbert next year and you pick up Greg Monroe. What a great trade that is. He is just absolutely special. He is a pro, Greg Monroe.
Alex Sturber nails that long jumper. Oh, goodness. Drew Holiday takes the contact. He'll go to the line after Sturba had gotten the Eagles to within 2.
The measure of greatness is when your team needs you the most, you find ways to make yourself and your team better. Drew Holiday says, give me the ball, I'll make an athletic play. Drew Holiday, a UCLA Bruin next year. Watch out.
Holiday's first 2 points of the second half.
Now for both these teams, the best player and hardest worker on both these teams is their best player, Delvon Rowe and Drew Holiday. 2 players on Campbell Hall's high school team said that when they grow up, they want to be Drew Holiday. That says something about his leadership ability.
Pritchard the steal and the dunk. And the Eagles within 3.
Well, Tom Pritchard has elevated his game here in the second half. He is a tough customer.
Well, Tom Izzo on hand to watch his prize recruit Delvon Rowe, but he's getting a first-hand look of what he'll have to deal with in Tom Pritchard. A steal there, and the Eagles can tie with a 3, but a foul on the floor.
And what a smart play there. A great point guard play by the coach's son, Frankie Dobbs. He comes down the floor, sees one green jersey on the right, but decides to give it to Tom Pritchard on the left. That's a heady play by a coach's son, Frankie Dobbs.
There's Dobbs with the basketball, the lob, Pritchard! Tom Pritchard slams it home, and the Eagles within a point.
And a called play by Eric Flannery from the bench. That's why he's in the hunt for Coach of the Year again this year, another state title here at St. Edwards.
Delvon Rowe.
Uh-oh! Uh-oh!
And St. Edwards with the lead on a 17-2 run. Tom Izzo enjoying that. And James Johnson getting involved down low. He'll go to the line in a moment.
And James Johnson is losing his composure because he got dunked on. This is a facial by Delvon Rowe. Rattle that rim.
6'9" senior Delvon Rowe heading to play for that man, Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and he'll watch Tom Pritchard suit up next year for Indiana.
Boy, have the future 2 Big Ten power forward combo, small forward, power forward, have they shown up here in the second half? Delvon Rowe and Tom Pritchard. Michigan State versus Indiana, coming your way next year on ESPN. Michigan State, Tom Izzo just keeps bringing in great players. Draymond Green, Corley Lucius.
You look at recruiting classes around the country, and you know, one of the things about the freshmen of today, guys, next year for Tom Izzo, or this year for John Calipari, or this year for Frank Martin, freshmen come in to make an impact now. Freshmen come in to play and change the fortune at times of a program.
Look at the Derrick Roses and Kevin Loves of the world, and Draymond Green is number 77 on the ESPN 150. Corey Lucius is number 85 on the ESPN 150. Delvon Rowe, number 7. All those guys are going to be expecting the opportunity to compete, to play right away, just like the other high wire acts that we see in college basketball right now. And last year there was Kevin Durant, Greg Oden, Mike Conley, but this year this class goes 12, 13, 14 deep, and this class is going to be extremely good coming out of high school to the collegiate ranks this coming season in 2008.
Pritchard again, 2 more. He's got 17, 10 here in the third quarter.
High-low, Michigan State to Indiana. Rowe to Pritchard.
McBroom, the freshman, got that one.
It looked like Campbell Hall was going to run away and hide, but Tom Pritchard, along with a little help from Delvon Rowe, has really gotten this crowd amped up.
They find Rowe, who's trying to go high-low with Pritchard. Now Dobbs will set it up. Frankie Dobbs His dad, Happy Dobbs, was the coach of Brown. And, of course, a player at Villanova. And
he was an assistant coach for Rollie Massimino at Cleveland State as well, Happy Dobbs.
Campbell Hall doing the work on the boards, and they get a foul. I believe they got Tom Pritchard. Indeed, they did. All the talk about Delvon Rowe, it's been Pritchard leading the push.
He's willing to do all the dirty work. He's got great hands, can finish around the basket. Defensively, he ain't scared now around the paint. And look at him, high-low strength, left-handed, right-handed. He's a lefty, but you never know it. Send it home. Tom Pritchard, and a called play by Eric Flannery. When you got a hot hand, Eric Flannery knows enough to get it to his best player, who's Tom Pritchard right now.
Rowe against Holiday, and Rowe has it knocked away. It'll stay St. Edward's basketball. Under a minute to go in the third quarter, and a good one here, tied at 50.
Somebody lit a fire underneath that young man at halftime, and he has responded. 17 points on the game, 10 in this quarter. He's simply the biggest, strongest, toughest kid on the court right now.
Hartnett's three in and out. Holiday ahead. Rutherford. Delvon Rowe. And they get the block on Holiday. Now more college basketball on ESPN2. Saturday night, Marquette and Wisconsin continue that rivalry. College basketball, ESPN2, Saturday night, 6 Eastern.
Ryan with those quality big guys, and Marquette with the quality backcourt with Dominic James and Jarrell McNeil. It'll be a great matchup.
Drew Holiday will grab a seat. Tied at 50. Rowe being trapped, puts it on the floor. Feed down low to Sturba. Shot blocked. Campbell Hall has it. McBroom being pressured, and the freshman will give it up. They'll hold for the last shot without Holiday on the court.
Well, Terry Kelly, knowing that the quarter's almost over, he's going to give his star a blow before the fourth quarter.
Nice work there. Dallas Rutherford aggressively going to the rim. Rutherford, a key guy for Campbell Hall, the defending state champs. He was part of the team that won last year, but missed a lot of time, played only 15 games with a fractured knee. And down on the court, I think Alex Sturba on the deck.
It looked like that knee or ankle just rolled over there. They can put weight on it, so that's a good sign.
Sturba's got 13 points, and he has helped out the cause for Eric Flannery. And the fans appreciate the effort.
Well, I like the effort of Dallas Rutherford, point guard, taking the ball to the basket with Drew Holiday on the bench. He said, hey, I'm going to take care of the ball right now and take the hole. He went hard.
Campbell Hall on the road, St. Edward's first game of the season. And Drew Holiday will watch the final seconds of the third quarter from the bench.
Give it to Delvon Rowe and get out of the way here. He can take it the entire court. There he is.
Dobbs now. Clock winding down. Kick out there. Tillo hits. Connor Tillo at the buzzer. And St. Edward leading by 3 through 3 quarters. Well, Frankie Dobbs, a point guard, using the space and kicking out.
When coaches' sons just seem to make great decisions during big times of basketball games. And Frankie Dobbs, the son of Happy Dobbs, former head coach of Brown University, he understands the game.
A lot of athleticism on display. Tom Pritchard, hello Indiana. He'll be big in the Big Ten. So will Delvon Rowe. St. Edwards leads.
The Heat trail by 2.
Miami needs someone to step up here. Okay, Dwayne. Let's get a nice open shot. No, dog. Just dunk it. Now, Dwayne. Kiss it off the glass. Kiss it? Take it in and dunk on him. He's a large man, Dwayne. And do what you do. Dunk on him. Still time for a jump shot. What? Dwayne. Here we go. Don't do it. Lift off, baby. No. Yeah, baby. Do it again. Do it again.
Remember that Monday when you made gumbo in honor of the Saints' big return to the Superdome? And how when the Saints blocked that first punt, a couple of friends weren't feeling so hot? And how when they scored on that double reverse, half the room was doubled over in pain? And as the Saints made football history, everyone was in tears, but it had nothing to do with the joy on the field. Remember that? Well, this Monday, when Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, and those same Saints take on the Falcons, don't serve shrimp you bought out of the back of a car.
Attention drivers statewide. If you are insured with Allstate, Geico, State Farm, or any other car insurer, you may be overpaying by hundreds of dollars. Find out how to get immediate savings through AIG Auto Insurance. What would it take to get you to switch your car insurance? If we told you that you could save $366 a year, wouldn't you pick up the phone? Start dialing, because you could save that much. People who switched from Geico saved around $375. From Allstate, $443. Your savings could be higher, like this driver who switched, or this one. And no other company gives you AIG Security Advantage that helps keep you safe on the road and away from home. Immediate savings available through AIG Auto Insurance. Call for a free rate quote today. Call 1-800-257-1908 for a free rate quote. You could save hundreds of dollars. That number again is 1-800-257-1908. Call now or visit AIGauto.com.
After a season that set new standards for uncertainty, the most unpredictable race in recent memory, for the game's most prestigious award. The drama, the honor, the history, the Heisman. Saturday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Back in Lakewood, Ohio, our Nike game track. St. Edward ahead. Tom Pritchard been big here in the second half. Drew Holiday leading all scorers with 21 for Campbell Hall. John Shambi alongside Mark Adams here. Our Old Spice High School showcase, and Tom Pritchard showcasing his skills. Eric Flannery's team in the green. They hung in there as Campbell Hall got off to the hot start. Now are on top by 3. And Mark, what do you look for the rest of the way?
Well, certainly St. Edward's going to look for Tom Pritchard down low and Delvon Rowe. He's matched up with Drew Holiday. I take it right at him, trying to get the 4th foul on Drew Holiday. On the defensive end, listen, Frankie Dobbs has done a pretty good defensive job on Drew Holiday here in the second half.
Pritchard cleaning up the Rowe miss. Rebound. All the opportunities. And St. Edwards comes away with it. Believe that they got Max Rose with that foul.
We've got to wonder, fatigue setting in a little bit for Campbell Hall. They fly cross country to get here. These kids aren't used to that level of travel. They had their shoot around this afternoon, and they were warming up an hour before game time, really kind of getting up and down. So Terry Kelly right now has to watch his team's legs very, very closely. That's why he gave Drew Holiday a blow at the end of the third quarter.
Holiday pulls down the Hartnett miss. The Vikings always look to push the pace. Contact as Holiday fades away. And rolled, rebound right there.
And who was there again and held his ground? Tom Pritchard.
Rowe showing off the range, but he's short.
When you see this many shots that are falling short, it's all about legs. These teams are not as conditioned as they will be in January and February. When the legs go, the shots get shorter.
The little guy McBroom couldn't get it to go amongst the big people. The Eagles set it up. Number 25 against number 11. And Delvon Rowe working against Drew Holiday. He's got about a 5-inch advantage. Pritchard right there. Can't get it to go. And James Johnson pulls down the rebound, and a couple of times down the court now, St. Edwards has had a chance to put home point-blank shots.
And again, I think fatigue is setting in with these teams in high school basketball. In Ohio, you only get a few weeks for Eric Flannery to prepare his team, and right now, this team looks like they're very winded here in the fourth quarter.
The three-pointer has not really been a big part of the arsenal tonight for the Eagles. Johnson at the line. And hits the front end of the 1-and-1.
This kid has recovered nicely. He had a tough stretch there for about a 2-minute stretch as he got dunked on and then got rejected. He was visibly upset, but he's regained his composure.
So here we go, tied at 53, and the sophomore has 9. St. Edwards, an experienced team. The senior point guard right here, Dobbs, Pritchard, the senior. And a step in right there by Keegan Hornbuckle, but it'll stay St. Edward basketball.
St. Edwards, every possession looking for high-low. They want to get the ball to Delvon Rowe up high, get it down to Tom Pritchard down low. Every single time those guys are working together.
How about that look as Rowe was able to find Connor Tillo.
Well, we knew these guys were special. We're going to the Pac-10 and the Big Ten, UCLA, Michigan State, and Indiana. But we're looking at 3 great players here tonight.
Drew Holiday's triple gives Campbell Hall the lead. Rowe double team. Pritchard puts back the miss.
And because of the double team coming to Delvon Rowe, that meant that Tom Pritchard was wide open on the back block.
Now, St. Edwards unique, 2 big players up front, that type of quality, and there's Dobbs hitting the jumper.
Well, I like his game. He's getting recruited a little bit right now at the mid-major level, Colgate being one of those schools. I like Frankie Dobbs' game. He can play somewhere, that's for sure.
Timeout on the court. St. Edwards leading by 3. They're in Lakewood, Ohio, and Tom Pritchard quiet in the first half, but really exerted himself here in the second half.
And Tom Pritchard, not the highest jumper, but the smartest player. Uses his hip to move Johnson underneath the basket and uses the rim to protect and go up for the tip. And Tom Pritchard, a cerebral, big guy play.
See the top Ohio players, and B.J. Mullins will head off and play for Thad Matta next year.
Yancey Gates, a tremendous big guy down going with Mick Cronin at the University of Cincinnati. Kenny Freeze, I'll tell you what, Sean Miller just keeps it going at Xavier. Drew Lavender, and those guys are pretty good this year along with Stanley Burrell. And Josh Benson, a guy you haven't heard a lot about, went for 48 and 15 the other night down in Dayton, Ohio. Brian Gregory pulls another rabbit out of the hat. First Chris Wright last year, and now Josh Benson this year.
And the A-10 should be very good this year.
Watch out for Dayton. They're going to be really good.
Johnson has his shot rejected by Rowe. Holiday picking up his dribble, and now Rutherford way deep. Eagles by 3, the push ahead. And Rutherford knocks it out of bounds. How about the defense for St. Ed's?
Well, just the help side, the backside defense, and the reaction to the ball. And again, there's the left-hander coming through to the right-hander's shot. Not a 7'3" kid that was left-hand, led the country in block shots. Being left-hand is a tremendous advantage when you're a shot blocker.
Holiday tries for the steal, but Rowe hits the deck. And a timeout called there by Eric Flannery. So a heads-up play. And St. Edwards maintaining possession. Well, a week from tonight, another good high school matchup. #1 team in the country, featuring the #1 high school player in the country. Brandon Jennings, number 1 Oak Hill against number 9 St. Benedict from New Jersey. And I'll tell you what, New Jersey, between St. Benedict, St. Anthony, St. Patrick, a lot of good high school basketball in the Garden State.
Some guys named Hurley, I believe, have had some influence on that New Jersey basketball.
Yeah, St. Benedict's coached by Danny Hurley. You see St. Anthony at number 6. His dad coaches the team there. And St. Patrick at number 2.
Well, how'd you like to coach at Oak Hill? Steve Smith has had a tremendous run. Carmelo Anthony, Ty Lawson, Ray John Rondo, Jerry Stackhouse. We could win a few games coaching those guys, John.
I would say so.
I'll be your assistant.
I would not need to do very much with that group, but I'll tell you this much, I will be your assistant in that scenario.
Well, I need all the wins I can get. I got to get back to 500.
Well, I guarantee you, you will not lose tonight.
And I'll sleep well.
Under 4 minutes to go here in Lakewood, Ohio. 2 of the top high school teams in the country matching up. Good look by Rowe as he finds Tillo. And, you know, we hear so much about the rebounding, the scoring for Delvon Rowe, but the passing is factored in.
And the lack of a shot clock played in that possession. St. Ed's made Campbell Hall play defense basically until they about lost their lunch and then made them pay as they got fatigued on the defensive end.
Holiday into the lane, goes left-handed. Goodness.
He's just so acrobatic around the basket.
Kind of slithering in between defenders.
Now watch the patience of St. Edwards. It might be their first game, but they know the value of taking care of the ball and using a lot of clock right now in high school basketball in Ohio. No shot clock tonight. They're going to run that flex and run that flex until there's a defensive miscue.
Well, they keep trying to either isolate Pritchard or Holiday. Now Dobbs with it. And there's Rowe, who misses. Push ahead McBroom, the freshman. Feeds off Johnson with the two-handed slam.
Now Johnson with the slam, but the defense of Drew Holiday on the opposite end is what made it happen for Campbell Hall.
A 1-point game. Just under 2.5 minutes to go here in Ohio. Dobbs will launch a 3. It was halfway down, and Holiday able to pick up the ball and go the other way, and a chance to give Campbell Hall the lead. But Pritchard comes away with that.
And remember, Campbell Hall, they've won every game by 24 points or more. This is the first time they've been in a late game tight situation. Of course, St. Edwards, their first game of the season. What a way to open up.
Campbell Hall led by double digits in the first half. Pritchard again, the feed from Rowe. Delvon Rowe making his living in the fourth quarter as a passer. And Tom Pritchard has 21 points as they look on in Bloomington, Indiana.
The high-low has been a lethal weapon for St. Edwards here in the second half, and Delvon Rowe showing his passing ability for Eric Flannery, an unselfish coach with an unselfish basketball team. Within one game of the state championship last season, they think they can win it this year.
Campbell Hall won the state last year in California. And take another look. Rowe, quick feed.
What a great hold off as Tom Pritchard moves the defender up the lane, calls for the ball at the left hand. Good fundamental high-low basketball. And Drew Holiday, what an acrobat. He just slithers and slides through defenders. Look, there's 3 green jerseys, but he finds a way to step through and get to the basket. I mentioned that long step early in the broadcast. He just covers so much floor with that long step to the rack.
Heading to UCLA, he is the highest rated guard to land in Westwood since Baron Davis in the late 90s, and one of the top 5 players in the country. 2 of the top teams in the country squaring off. Our Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. John Shambi and Mark Adams with you. Campbell Hall in the white on the road here in Ohio.
And St. Edward's switching up to his own defense, trying to take away some of those dribble penetration avenues to the basket from Drew Holiday.
Rutherford will try a three. Hornbuckle, big rebound, and the bucket right there gets Campbell Hall to within a point.
The positive for the zone defense, force the outside shot. The negative, you usually don't block off very well, and right there, Campbell Hall took full advantage.
And again, a lot of experience for St. Edwards, and again, they run that play. Rowe to Pritchard, and Pritchard will shoot free throws when we come back. St. Edward, number 11 team in the country, leads it by a point.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
Let's say you need to get your car insured. You want to shop around so you can make a smart decision, but you want to do it fast. That's why you've got to go to Progressive.com. You can get the Progressive Direct rate and the rates of other top companies, so you could save a lot of money. And it only takes about 8 minutes.
Saving hundreds is just the beginning. Start saving today at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Click or call today.
You don't want to be LeBron James. I am just one man. I still have a lot of work to do, much more to learn, to be as good as I can be. But I do see the light, and it is up to me to go and get it. I am LeBron James. You don't want to be me. You want to be better than me.
Smell like a sound, I'm lost in a crowd, and I'm hungry like the wolf.
Ahoy.
ESPN's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase is presented by Nike. Do you love basketball or do you love famous? The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. And Old Spice. Experience is everything.
Back here in Ohio, the Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike, and number 11 team in the country leading by a point under a minute to go. John Shambi and Mark Adams, and it's been a good matchup. St. Edwards, I guess for lack of a better phrase, looked a little rusty first game of the year, and our Star Watch update right there, but Delvin Rowe and company got settled in and found their form.
Well, and certainly Drew Holiday with 26 points and Delvon Rowe with 14 points. But the real story of this game has been the second half performance of the Indiana signee, Tom Pritchard, who's on the line right now. He's been able to wheel and seal down low and be able to get quality touches from Delvon Rowe. They've been a dynamic duo inside, high post to low post.
And again, Pritchard at 6'9", Rowe at 6'9", lots of size. To figure, St. Edwards will not go up against too many teams with quality size like they have.
Well, and certainly we looked at these two teams physically, and we felt that St. Edwards had an edge physically. They were a little bit bigger and stronger. But when you talk about Johnson coming in the game, James Deuce Johnson has done a nice job as a sophomore. I think that Drew Holiday has also shown his ability defensively, matched up quite a bit of the night with Delvon Rowe.
Well, a look at the future of college basketball, and the focus on the high school game continues this month, a week from tonight. Great matchup, number 1 team in the country, Oak Hill, going up against number 9 St. Benedict's.
That is one tough kid, Tom Pritchard. Kelvin Sampson, you got yourself a basketball player there.
St. Edwards up by 3. Pritchard having himself a night.
Frankie Dobbs matched up with Drew Holiday in full denial. They're not going to let him touch the basketball. Frankie Dobbs just wearing him like a coat.
They cannot get Holiday the basketball. Close to 30 seconds, and now it's McBroom. Hits the 3, Austin McBroom, the freshman, and we are tied at 65.
And Terry Kelly can just stand and smile. This is a great high school basketball game. Look for high-low. Delvon Rowe to Tom Pritchard. Look for the second shot. Maybe a miss. Go tip it in to win it by the two big guys.
So here we go. Dobbs running the play. Dobbs spinning, picks up his dribble. Tillo for the win. Rowe down low. No shot. We're going to overtime in Lakewood, Ohio. Rowe didn't have enough time to try and go back with the rebound. But how about the freshman Austin McBroom drilling a three to send it to overtime?
The full denial of Drew Holiday meant that Austin McBroom had to take a huge shot on national television and drain it.
Already only a freshman, but lots of interest out there for Austin McBroom.
Let's say you need to get your car insured. You want to shop around so you can make a smart decision, but you want to do it fast. That's why you've got to go to Progressive.com. You can get the Progressive Direct rate and the rates of other top companies. So you could save a lot of money. And it only takes about 8 minutes.
Saving hundreds is just the beginning. Start saving today at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Click or call today.
When you put up a fathead, you're making a statement too big for words. A statement like this. Maybe you need something more. How about the NFL, NBA, MLB, NASCAR? If you can think of a sports-related acronym, we probably got a fathead for you. The biggest names and moments captured at the height of intensity, plucked from the playing field like ripened fruit that can smack you in your ear hole. Nice work, fellas. Hall of Famers, ex-gamers, QB sackers, revitalized Packers. I'm starting to rhyme, and I like it. Fathead, a passion that's been building and building, so put it in your building.
Get your favorite fatheads from the NFL, plus MLB, NBA, NASCAR, and more. For a limited time, buy one and get half off the second at fathead.com.
Well, we start overtime. The Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike here in Lakewood, Ohio. Tied at 65, and Drew Holiday, one of the top-rated players in the country, and Frankie Dobbs, a guard for St. Edward's, wearing him like a shirt.
He is just in full denial right now, and Eric Flannery has decided somebody else on Campbell Hall. If Campbell Hall's going to win, it's going to come from somebody besides Drew Holiday. Frankie Dobbs just all over Drew Holiday, who has 26 points on the night.
Got an assistant on Eric Flannery's staff, and Dobbs will handle the point. Rowe underneath, blocked by Holiday, but grabs his miss and stuffs it home.
And that's the work ethic we've talked about with Delvon Rowe. There's just no give up in that young man.
They get Johnson on the travel on the nice feed from Drew Holiday.
And Delvon Rowe just stays with it. He's got the shot right now, but he takes the extra dribble, which gives the angle to Drew Holiday, but he stays with it. The hard work over the summer, the multiple hours of conditioning and basketball skills paid off right there.
Tom Pritchard feeds down low. Rowe had it knocked away, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line, and they get Holiday. That is number 4 on the UCLA-bound senior.
Well, the high-low that time with Tom Pritchard going down to Delvon Rowe. And, you know, it wasn't just what Rowe did, but when Pritchard entered the ball down low and saw that Delvon Rowe was going up for the shot, he knifed right to the basket. He would have got the second opportunity off the miss.
One more, guys. With all the attention on a guy like Delvon Rowe, Eric Flannery made the point that if we lose, he's going to get blamed regardless of how he plays. And I guess that's the way it works when you're the best player. I know Tom Izzo's had to have enjoyed his look, because here in this one, Rowe's showing off some of his different skills, including the ability to pass.
And you're also getting to see 3 quality players going against each other every possession. It's a good measuring tool for how these guys are going to react in the Pac-10 and Big Ten next year, and I'd say they're passing with flying colors.
And right there, Rutherford fouling Dobbs.
Yeah, a lot of reaching going on right there, and Frankie Dobbs so strong with the basketball. Frankie Dobbs has been a guy that has shown me he's ready for prime time as well. Somebody's going to be looking at that young man. A lot of guys at the mid-major level are going to be seeing a point guard. And no, he doesn't get by people. He doesn't have the lightning quickness. But he's as smart a basketball player as I've seen at the high school level in a long, long time. Frankie Dobbs, the coach's son.
Big free throw right there, Eric Flannery. And there's Happy Dobbs, Frankie's father, former head coach at Brown, and now works as the assistant athletic director here at St. Edward's School, as well as an assistant coach.
You know, at some point in your life, you just reach a decision and say, I want to be a good dad. And Happy Dobbs is much happier today doing what he's doing at the high school level, coaching his son as an assistant coach here at St. Edward's.
McBroom. Freshman couldn't hit that time. Roll the board. And Dobbs and the Eagles control, leading by 5.
And remember, no shot clock. This is going to be a long offensive possession. Campbell Hall is going to have defensive patience right here.
Delvon Rowe. And a turnover.
Yeah, not a great decision right there. Delvon Rowe trying to give it to a 5'9" guy down on the block. Now Campbell Hall will get another opportunity to kind of inch back into this basketball game.
Now, second half for St. Edward's taking care of the ball has been big. Only 3 turnovers since halftime for St. Edward's. Coming up on 2 minutes here in Lakewood, Ohio, John Shambi, Mark Adams. Our Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike.
Well, think about it, John. 5 years ago, ESPN introduced the nation to LeBron James. And tonight now we see 3 major Division I players in Delvon Rowe to Michigan State, Tom Pritchard to Indiana, and Drew Holiday to UCLA. They're not LeBron James, certainly, but these are 3 guys that are going to make a big impact, like Derrick Rose has made at Memphis. When you talk about Kyle Singler, when you talk about all these great players, Corey Fisher at Villanova, these are the guys we're going to be talking about next year.
Connor Tillo able to book the first, and the Eagles now leading this one by 6. And the 6'6" senior short on that one. Drew Holiday handling.
Well, the defense just surrounding Drew Holiday. They're sitting back in a 2-3 zone and just waiting for him.
Timeout called by Terry Kelly, the Campbell Hall coach. And a good one next week. #1 team in the country, #1 player in the country. Oak Hill, Brandon Jennings going up against St. Benedict. And we'll have that for you 9 Eastern on ESPN. Samardo Samuels, big fella, plays for Danny Hurley at St. Benedict.
Yes, Samardo Samuels has that big NBA body, and Brandon Jennings in the ESPN 150 rated the top point guard. Those 2 guys are also surrounded by some great players as well. Oak Hill is loaded again.
It's amazing when you see these freshmen nowadays come in with, well, bodies that don't look like 18-year-old bodies. Michael Beasley at 6'9", 240. J.J. Hickson at NC State, who's 6'9", in the 235 range. And these kids are chiseled and ready to bang.
Tom Pritchard talked about it today. The strength training program and the conditioning that high school players do now. They play year-round. They play for AAU coaches. High schools have invested in good strength training programs and strength coaches. And it's not just about football anymore. It's about basketball as well. And these guys are chiseled coming out of high school, which prepares them to be better players at the collegiate level as they enter into it.
Holiday knifes into the lane for 2 more. And they get McBroom with the foul. Drew Holiday has been outstanding, not just at the defensive end, but how about that up and under move? So athletic, and he can hit the J too.
Boy, the ball just seems a part of his body when he dribbles it. He's able to move his body in position. Regardless of where the defender is, you never see people able to take a charge on him because he's able to stop, 2-foot jump stop, and go in a completely different direction. He combines quickness with fundamental skill with athleticism. That's a dangerous combination.
Game high 28. Dobbs hits both. And St. Edward's leading this one by 6. The Eagles lost in the Final Four in the Ohio State playoffs last year. And here tonight, not just led by Delvon Rowe, but by Tom Pritchard.
Tom Pritchard catches everything around the basket. He can finish around defenders. He can put it in people's faces. He can defend. There's that big left hand coming up and blocking the shot. He's been active all game long. He has been the difference maker here in the second half. And credit St. Edwards and Eric Flannery for isolating him and getting the ball down low in the high-low situation.
Tom Pritchard doing the yeoman's work down low. And on the receiving end of our Old Spice player of the game, 23 points, 11 boards, but 13 of those points and 9 of those rebounds in the second half.
Well, he's so physically mature and prepared. And John, you'd mentioned about high school kids coming into college. My biggest concern as a former head coach was, does a kid have the strength to take the rigors of the long college basketball season? We are seeing freshmen come into college now that are well prepared physically.
So here in overtime, St. Edwards leading Campbell Hall by 6. Coming up on a minute to go. Drew Holiday pulls up for 3 and hits. He's got 31.
Going right off the dribble. One dribble, bring it up, lock it, let it fly.
And a foul right there is Keegan Hornbuckle. Able to foul Delvon Rowe, who will march to the other end.
Now Drew Holiday against the 2-3 zone. Look at the dribble right here. Pops up, straight up, lets it go. Good extension, elbow straight out. That's a pro move right there. You know, it's easy to catch the ball and then release and let go. It's much harder to come off the dribble like that, be balanced, and then let fly. Only good athletes can master that move. Obviously, Drew Holiday is a great athlete.
Well, Delvon Rowe, we asked him, what would you like Tom Izzo to see here tonight? And Rowe said that I like the spotlight. He's shown that so far. Hornbuckle drills a 3, and the Vikings with a huge triple there within 1. Dobbs being pressured, and they get the foul. A good one in overtime, and Frankie Dobbs, the senior, will march to the other end and shoot free throws.
Hey, I'm enjoying watching these guys so much. Let's go for a double overtime. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Let's make it more like a college game. Let's go 40.
Good look from Holiday, and Keegan Hornbuckle, his brother Mike, plays at Pepperdine and knocks that one down.
There's Pepperdine with Vance Wahlberg, who has that Princeton offense on steroids. We'll take a good look at Happy down there. He's got to be pretty happy right now, up 2, and his son at the free throw line. Happy Dobbs.
And his son Frankie 6 for 6 from the line in OT.
That kid's a winner. I'd recruit him. The right level, he's going to win you a lot of games.
Ball back in Holiday's hands. Holiday spinning, looking for some space. Pulls back. And now Rutherford, as they try and get Holiday free, they do. He went behind his back and turned it over. And they get the foul, and Dobbs will go back to the line. Not sure what Holiday had in mind at the other end there.
Drew Holiday just made a mistake offensively. And credit the help defense. I see him get the ball, and the hand comes in right, there, and then he decides to go behind his back because he leaves his feet. We talked about him being fundamental, 2-foot jump stops. That's the first time he's left his feet like that all night, out of control, with no place to pass the basketball.
Austin McBroom done for the night. Hit the huge three that sent this game to overtime. And McBroom, as a freshman, he already has gotten interest from USC, UCLA, and Florida.
Well, we saw how tough he was there at the end of regulation. He didn't care if Drew Holiday wasn't open. He decided, I'm going to go ahead and take this big shot on national television. I mean, it was just straight down the bucket. Didn't touch anything.
Got a feeling you'll be hearing the name McBroom in the future. Now, Frankie Dobbs continues his perfection at the line.
You know, High Point, another program that's shown some interest in this young man. They've got to be looking at this and saying, I wish he wouldn't play this well, because he's going to get some attention now.
5-point advantage for the Eagles as this one closes down. Rutherford, now Holiday. And the UCLA-bound senior pulls up for three. He's short, and that'll do it. And fittingly enough, the ball lands in the arms of Tom Pritchard. His second half huge. And Eric Flannery's team picks up the win in OT, 78-73 here in Lakewood, Ohio. Two top 25 teams squaring off, and it took the extra session to decide this one, but the home side wins. Number 25, Campbell Hall, on the road, and they fall by 5. Now, time now to head back to the studio. For Mark Adams, I'm John Shambi. Let's turn it over to Ryan Burr.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. A good one, certainly. St. Ed's pulling out an overtime victory. Hubert Davis and Ryan Burr, thanks for joining us here as we take you to the next show here, Varsity Inc. on ESPN2. There is a college football game or pro football game of interest, I should say. The Redskins and the Bears, and the Redskins have added a field goal, so it is now 17-10. Washington on top. Notes of interest here: both starting quarterbacks have left the game and will not return. Rex Grossman and Jason Campbell both with knee injuries, so it's Brian Greasy and Todd Collins that will decide this football game, which is into the fourth quarter with the Skins on top, 17-10. Plenty of college basketball tonight. Villanova and LSU, part of the Big East SEC Invitational. Anthony Randolph, Hubert, showing all of his worth tonight.
Well, LSU has too much size for Villanova. You see the play into Anthony Randolph. They also has another 7-footer, Chris Johnson, is doing a terrific job on both ends of the floor, shutting down their go-to player for Villanova, Scotty Reynolds. Only 4 points in this game thus far.
And that's Terry Martin hitting the three. It was a 32-18 at that point. We get you up to date now, 44-31. This game can be seen over on ESPN, but LSU in control right now over Villanova. The game is being played in Philadelphia. So, Hubert, let's talk about this game. LSU goes 1-2 on their trip to Maui. Many question where they'd finish in the SEC. Then they show up in Philadelphia and are dominating Villanova. Why the difference so quickly?
Well, they struggled at the beginning of the year because this is a young, inexperienced team, but you can see against Villanova, Villanova's not a very big basketball team, but you look at LSU, they have a lot of size, a lot of athleticism. Terry Martin shooting well from three-point range. Their guard, Garrett Temple, is doing an outstanding job defensively on Scotty Reynolds, holding them to 4 points in the game. And this is a guy that's averaging 17 points a game. So this is a team, when you look at the SEC West, is going to be a major player, and probably the only team to compete against them is Mississippi State. They're going to make some noise in the SEC.
Yeah, they're big, they're long, they're athletic. Interesting enough, yesterday in the Big East SEC Invitational, the Big East won both games down in Alabama. Yeah. Now it's the SEC schools coming to Philadelphia, and as you can see, the SEC having a pretty good day. The first of the games, South Carolina and Providence. Providence the favorite in this one, but Dave Odom doesn't care because he's got a fine point guard. Devon Downey misses here, but how about Mike Holmes coming on the backside?
Yeah, they were terrific in transition. You already mentioned Devin Downey, a transfer from Cincinnati. Zam Frederick, transfer from Georgia Tech, also did a terrific job. And South Carolina pretty much had control of the game until the second half.
Yeah, about 3 minutes to go. Providence made a big run. They're down 2 after that dunk. Big point here, though. Downey on the steal.
Well, he can make an impact on both ends of the floor defensively. He was the guy that got into passing lanes and steals, but Providence still had a chance.
Still had a chance all the way down to the buzzer. It's Wayman Epijuco, but he's fouled. He would go to the foul line, down only 2, missed the first, tries to miss the second intentionally, Hubert, but he ends up making it. Thus, South Carolina holds on to win by 1. They blow the big lead, but they do survive. Another, you can see the final score there, Downey. Look at that, 5 steals, 5 assists, and the 21 points. What an addition he has been to South Carolina.
Well, he's been huge. I mean, this is a guy that can play defensively, get steals, get in the offensive end. He's going to get into the middle anytime he wants. He loves to distribute the basketball, and he can also knock down from 3-point range. 44% on the year.
UConn also in action, taking on Northeastern. That's where Jim Calhoun coached before he headed over to Connecticut. On the break now, A.J. Price. The Price is right to Stanley Robinson, throwing down on the alley-oop. UConn by 5. Later, UConn up by 3. How about Jerome Tyson? Get it out, Hubert.
Well, a lot of athleticism, a lot of skill, and this is a team that really gets after on a defensive end. If they can get outside shooting from Stanley Robinson, they're going to be a major player in the Big East.
Second half, Jim Calhoun not happy with the refereeing, and the next thing you know, he's got 2 technicals, and he's heading to the locker room early. Northeastern hung into this one thanks to Matt Channing. Like that stroke, he hits the 3. Northeastern only down 3, but Jeff Adrian coming up big down the stretch. The big emphatic dunk there. UConn holds on to win it 69-60 as the Huskies improve to 6-2 on the season.
Well, Connecticut is a solid win for them, but again, they struggled from the 3-point line and taking care of the basketball. They're going to have to take care of that when they get into Big East play.
After a season that set new standards for uncertainty, the most unpredictable race in recent memory, for the game's most prestigious award. The drama, the honor, the history, the Heisman. Saturday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
So we ask you, Sports Nation, who do you think will win the Heisman Trophy? Your voice can be heard at ESPN.com, Sports Nation. Right now, Tim Tebow, by a whisker over Darren McFadden, is currently the leader on Sports Nation. Tell you about some awards tonight down at the College Football Awards as the debate rages on who will win the Heisman Trophy. Tim Tebow or Darren McFadden have solidified their spots as the frontrunners. However, McFadden should really be smiling. He won the Walter Camp Award. The last 3 Camp winners have all won the Heisman Trophy. Tebow won the Maxwell Award. No Maxwell winner has won the Heisman since 1999. LSU coach Les Miles has signed a contract extension that will keep him with the Tigers through 2012. The deal was approved Thursday by the LSU board, and that apparently ends any chance that Miles will be leaving for Michigan. He indeed will stay with LSU. Hubert Davis and Ryan Burt, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the high school game. Varsity Inc. coming up next on ESPN2. For everyone here on the college basketball side, have a great night and enjoy Varsity Inc.